everybody. Gives me great pleasure to talk to the wonderful Roger Spurr today. Roger, so good to see you. It's been quite a while since we've spoken in person.
It has been a while. It has been. I remember when you found that heart.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a shocker for you. I could see it in your face.
Oh boy, tell you what. But we're going to come back to our discoveries in the fossils. But first of all, I want to just ask on behalf of everyone that's going to watch this, what have you been working on? Share with us what you've been working on, some of the different areas of research and discovery. I know that you're a multifaceted guy. You've got an incredible body of knowledge, and there are people out there that are really keen to hear it from the horse's mouth. So what have you been working on?
Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing I haven't been working on, Michael. The deeper I go, the more it just falls apart. Everything that they have told us. Isn't
that the amazing thing? That's exactly what I find. Every channel that you choose, whether it's history, whether it's mythology, whether it's science and physics and quantum mechanics and everything, material sciences, biology, even cellular biology. I mean, what we get taught about biology and the structure of cells, it's all bogus.
Have you seen that video on YouTube? It's called "Your Textbooks Are Wrong. This is what your cells look like."
I have not seen that, but thanks for bringing it up. Just
write that down. Your textbooks are wrong. This is what your cells look like. And they went and they actually watched what was happening inside the white blood cells, where the bacteria was literally gobbling up all of the particles and taking them out to deliver them through your system, through the interstitium. It's absolutely incredible. And you're right. Everything right down the line to biology.
Yeah.
Even let me just mention one thing right now. You see, I don't know if you have this in your country, but here in the United States, there's 3 different viruses are attacking the kids now, primarily. Whoops. And they're the COVID, this RSV, whatever that is, it's some kind of other virus, and then the flu, all 3. Now, what are they doing to those kids? What is happening to them? They're all having respiratory disease. And what does respiratory disease consist of? It's the fibers and the collagens and the rubbery fabric that lets your lungs expand and contract. That's what it works. Now, what happened? These 3 bacteria or 3 viruses it appears to me they're all living off the same collagen. They're eating the rubber collagens, which are the rubbery ones, so your lungs can't go back open again. There's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, this is a sensitive subject. I don't want to get sidetracked and get into this whole virus thing, because that'll completely hijack the reason why you and I want to talk about fossils. I guess, look, it is very, very important, but unfortunately it does bring into question the vaccines that they've been spreading, what's in the vaccines, how toxic the vaccines are the vaccines doing more damage than the so-called viruses?
Let me just ask you one thing right now, Michael. Maybe you're right. I shouldn't have brought that up. You want to just start from
look, it's important for people to be cognizant of this, because this is such a big subject. It is the subject of our century right now. And that's
it is, you're right. And I got 2 strikes from YouTube for talking about it. So you're probably right. Maybe we should not use this.
Yeah. So let's come back to your research, because I know you sent me some wonderful images and your research into the particles and quantum mechanics and so forth. And I've got a lot to say about that, obviously, through my research. And my research into the whole particle physics and quantum mechanics comes into it for the reason of discovering the ancient tools and artifacts, the advanced technology in the form of the Torah stones, the cone-shaped tools, and then the magnetron-shaped ruins and magnetron imagery in ancient civilizations. And you combine those 3 together, and then various aspects of that, it becomes fascinating to realize how much hidden knowledge there is in the imagery from ancient civilizations, from all over the world, from Egypt to Sumerians and so much more. But you've looked into the whole particle physics thing from a slightly different perspective. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, let me. Can I share my screen to show you?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, here. Let me share my screen. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to my light stuff. Now, what we did was we took a pulse laser and we shot it into a Venturi. Give me a second. I've got so many things open, it takes a while. We shot it through a Venturi, and a Venturi is nothing more than a restriction. So think about this. You understand particles, and they have fields around them, magnetic particles, correct? You understand the field.
I understand the field intimately, but that's a whole nother discussion, because what some people describe as a field will probably be very different from how I describe it, but it is a magnetic.
Well, I'll show you, I can show you all of the stuff because we did it, and I can show you the actual particles, the fields, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we have here. This is the particles and I'll show you, here it comes right now. Now.
So explain, just before you go into this, explain to us what we're looking at. How do you capture these images? Where do these images come from? And what technology was used to generate these very impressive images?
Okay, what we did was we used cell phones, which are the same as CERN uses. And you see what this point particle thing here, the black and the red?
Yes.
This is from Fermilab. They found these particles, and they work exactly the way we found them. And it says right down here, in summary, the extended particle, that's the black one, is fixed. It never changes size.
Right.
It has a fuzzy edge around it, which is the color. That's the color. The point particles have no size whatsoever, he says, other than a field around them, which I agree with that. They have no mass.
And the 0 point. So there's a field around the 0 point. Is that their conclusion? Is that their finding?
That's correct.
Yeah, and that would. So I would completely. I agree 100% with what they're writing about here. This is what I find fascinating, is that in the literature of mainstream academia, you find both the truth, both what's real, and then all the fuzzy, confusing information that, from my research, they very often misinterpret what they see, what they observe, and then they put out pseudoscience as their conclusion. And that's what I find very frustrating and disturbing from most mainstream academic institutions. But so I'm very excited to hear this report here.
Yeah. Well, what it is, I'm going to show you the light particles in a second and explain exactly what you saw. Those black and white ones. That's a muon and an electron neutrino. They're the smallest particles that exist, and they agree with that. And they say they make up the quantum foam. You see, this is more Fermilab. So, and it says right here, excuse me, empty space isn't empty. It's not empty.
No, of course it's not empty. You can't space. Empty space is a misnomer. There's no such thing as empty space. Everything is filled with a source code of creation, with a source code of the energy fields that hold everything together. It can't be empty. If it's empty, then it can't be part of space.
No, correct. Now, here's the thing, though. Not only is it just part of space, it's part of, hold on, it's particles. Light is particles. There's no question whatsoever now. I can prove this 100%. Here they are right here.
Okay, so So you're saying that light is a particle. Again, Roger,
Absolutely.
would be consistent with my conclusions is then when, when you read, when God said, let there be light, that's really a crash course in quantum physics, because first you have the source code energy, the vibration, the resonance of creation, and those magnetic fields create electromagnetic fields that create light. And when light combines with the source that actually created it, you have this physical manifestation called particles that we seem to interact with, that we are a part of, and everything visible and even invisible.
Wait, hold on a second. What you just said is the key. We are a part of these particles. These particles are us.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
all that exists, Michael. That's all that exists.
That's all it is. And again, for anyone that remembers, science at school, when you first discover atoms, and they tell you, oh, the space in the atom is so vast. The space between the nucleus and all the electrons and all this stuff is so vast. It's like there's more space in an atom between the electrons than there is between the planets in our solar system and so forth. And it's exactly. But again, those are half truths. There's some element of truth in there, and a lot of misinterpretation in those statements.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Right now, the standard model says that the nucleus is 100% positive, and the electrons are 100% negative, which it never worked.
Well, first of all, we need to specify here, Roger, that the nucleus isn't a thing. Nucleus is a force. It's a force. It's not a bunch of particles stuck together like little marble.
Oh, no. Disagree. Totally disagree. 100% disagree. Let me show you something. I'll tell you what. Let me show you, and they now agree with what I said, is that the proton itself is, well, we know that protons, they smash them head on, and they get debris from them. So there's particles there. We know there's some matter there. All right, so it's not just a force. They're seeing these actual particles disassociate.
But what are they looking? What are they watching? What you see, even the images that I'm looking at here, I'm not seeing particles. I'm seeing resonance. I'm seeing resonance fields. I'm seeing
no. I'll show you the particles.
Waves of energy.
Right here. Here, let me show you the particles. Here's the red electron photons coming in. From the left over here is the light coming in, and it's showing up here as its particles. Then those particles hit the venturi over here and they separate. Let me play a video, Michael. I have a video here. Hold on a second. That I just did. I put it up. This fission and fusion and dark matter. We can see all this happening. Now, let me just start it off. I'll show one little clip at a time and we'll talk about it. All right, here's the first one. Okay, my friends, this is just unbelievable, but it appears to be true. These are the smallest particles they have ever found, which is the muon neutrino and electron neutrino. It's a black fixed particle and a white squishy particle. We literally separated them, and then they came back together. And now I just found where we can actually watch them reconfiguring. Nobody's ever seen any of this before. All right, that's the particles. You still there, brother?
I'm here.
Okay, that's the particles. Now, here's the second clip. All right, you saw the ones that they found at Fermilab in CERN, which is this big black one, which is not big, it's the tiniest particle that exists, but it's a muon, and this is the electron neutrino. Now, we saw them in photons of light. That's a photon. There's those two particles. And each side is an attached particle. Each side would be considered an electron. Nobody's ever known about the black particle before. Brand new information. They see them at CERN, but they just see them in debris. We see them actually manifesting themselves, turning into these particles. And then we actually see the particles separate, the black separate from the white, exactly what CERN and Fermilab would like to see. But we're using light, so we can actually watch it develop. Not only that, Once they separate, you got black and you got white. When they come back together, we can see that too. All right, you saw the ones that they found at. Hold on. So now what I just showed was particles coming from the pulsed red laser. Let me find that spot. Well, I'll just keep going. Let's go to, so far, does that make sense to you?
Oh, Roger, I'm just going to let you get through this because I have, I can talk about this and I can analyze this for a whole day and longer and in far more in depth what's actually going on there. But that's my comprehension. So I'm going to shut up.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Here goes. Here goes the next clip. Here's what we found. Where do you see this? Here's what happened. Let me show you, just explain to you. This is light right here, not accelerated, just normal pulsed red laser. There's a particle in here, which is that little four-banger particle, 2 whites and two blacks. We accelerated that because of the Venturi, and it split into the black and the white. So now we have a black and a white completely separated. They have to come back together.
The black and, if I can ask you, did the black and the white particles that appear to be particles, did they have different energetic fields attached to them?
Yes, they do.
Different polarities or different energetic fields. Yeah, that would make sense. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why I'm asking that, because it's the only way they can separate and appear to have different properties is because of the toroidal nature behind it. And again, I can go into great detail. Everything you're talking about here, Roger, it can be explained very, very easily with torsion fields, toroidal fields, mechanics. Every aspect that you're talking about, even this visual on the right-hand side, you can clearly see the magnetic fields happening there, the magnetic forces at play that appear to show us particles. But because our technology is not strong enough to drill into that and go deeper into that, that will reveal that inside of that, there are fields that are equivalent to what we're looking at here. So my conclusion is has always been that there is no such thing as the smallest particle, that there is no smallest. It's just smallest from our perspective. That's what we can detect, and that's what our technology can detect. But it's an infinite infinite structure of quantum entanglement that goes forever smaller and smaller and forever larger and larger. And it's just, we happen to find ourselves at this particular juncture within this quantum soup of infinity that that we are observing things around us. So there comes a point to which we go, what we think is the smallest point, and that's where we get stuck. And we get to the largest point and we get stuck there.
Lightsabers are finally
hold on one second, Mike.
reality,
Yeah.
and you can own one. This new military.
Let me just show you something about the particles. This is a test house. All right. Whoops. I talk about particles. All right. Let's take an atomic bomb. An atomic bomb causes damage very, very far away from the detonation site. You agree with that?
Oh, yeah,
now,
absolutely, yeah.
Let me show you something here. I'm going to set this down so that we get this very slow. There is two particles, and between the two of them, the white one completely coats the black center. And I can show that right here. Watch this. This is in outer space. They did this. They made a black hole, the Russians. You see that?